this is something that I think he was posing in this book too, is sort of like, okay, show up, do the work, turn yourself into an artist of your field. So you need to do your work, you need to do it for you, and you need to tell yourself a particular story about it. And the story you choose to tell yourself about it will really determine if you really keep going or not. And a question that I found myself asking when I was listening to this was, how much of a hurry am I in? Because if you're in a hurry and you want something this year to kind of work out, you're not going to be doing your best, most creative work, or you probably won't even start, because you're going to need to have a lot of practice to get there. And, like we talked about with Danny Meyer, your career is a long career if you're lucky enough to stay alive through it. So you don't need to be in as much of a hurry as you think. We underestimate the amount of things that we can get done over the long term and the cumulative effects of doing something every day or every 3 times a week or whatever. So if you're in it for the long term and you start to expand those horizons, you're more likely to actually be able to, take a bit of a hit now, and you'll do it for long enough that you'll probably create a job for whatever you're passionate in. You'll create this great writing. You'll learn to play the guitar like a maestro if you're playing it for 15 years, twice a week. That's going to happen.
That's you, mate.
That's me. That's right. So unfortunately, I'm not quite at year 10, but hey, I'm still practicing, so that's good.
You'll be there soon.
Exactly. So if you take the long-term view and be brave about it, you can do pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost that's almost the tension, mate. It's like there's a tension between wanting to try and hit the ideal state of what you're kind of in that is your vision, and then there's like a practical reality, like I need to get some food on the table type thing, and there's somewhere in the middle that you need to find in between those two things. Because there's many things that you can do to put food on the table. But the chances are, the closer that you are towards that end of the scale of, just putting food on the table, is, I suspect that, given enough time down the track, you won't have moved as far along that path towards a more creative vision on the other end, given a number of years. Whereas someone that's starting a little bit further towards what they want to try and achieve is obviously going to be a little bit further along.
Mm.
So I think
go on. Sorry,
you go. And so I think that, mate, the challenge is in finding where to start along that curve. But I think, as you said, if you spend all of your time trying to work out where to start, you're not going to start at all. And I think this is a big, one of the classic procrastinations, or one of the classic lizard brain techniques that he actually mentions throughout the book. And he rattles off like this incredible list of, the lizard brain is actually thinking here moments throughout. But that was definitely one of them.
Absolutely. And a lot of that's generated because, if you want to be creative, this is something I took from the book too. If you want to be creative, don't expect other people to get on board. So if you're doing it solely so that you can get the adulation of the crowd, you will fail, because that's an outcome a long way down the track if you're lucky. You need to do it for you or for other reasons, and you've got to define success as showing up or whatever else. But it's got to be kind of an input, not about kind of the result of it, I guess.
Well, mate, the classic statement is it's that need. You need to get it out into the world. Or there's a burning desire or a burning attraction to whatever it is that you're trying to do in this space. I know that, Seth puts it in slightly different words. I think that's pretty close to like Pressfield's words. I know like Neil Gaiman talks about this. He's another famous like fictional writer, talks about a similar thing. It's like this burning need to get things out.
So if you're someone who, I think you've had this probably where you're not really sure what that is. How do you go about, and you don't want to just keep, banging through on the 9 to 5 if you can avoid it, or you do, but you want to do something else on the side. How do you kind of find the fire?
You know what, mate?
Because that can be something that stops you.
100%. I think there's a really big thing here, right? In your younger years, like your 20s, certainly your 20s, I think the biggest bit of advice that I would give is go and do and try many different things, and like do all the high risk stuff then, because chances are you haven't got much to lose, and what you feel that depending on where you kind of what industry or area you're getting into, there's always this like incessant need that if you don't get in now, you're going to be behind in the race to who knows fucking where. And it's just simply not true. And it's quite interesting. You, even having worked beside people who might come back into the workforce after a number of years away, and you kind of look at them, you're like 5 years older than me, but we're kind of on the same level here. But then what happens is a couple of years down the track, those people have catapulted their way forward in whatever it is that they're pursuing, because they've had all this time to discover who it is that they are, by trying many different things and exploring different realms of the world, or of different experiences and things that they can get involved with. And I think that's part of it, mate. So there's like this gaining experiences piece to like see different perspectives and try things on. But I think there's one other part, and that other part is there's the leap again, and the leap requires a bit of commitment. And again, maybe that's something. There's almost like that, like a beckoning commitment that calls from the 30s, I guess. As you get a little bit older, it's like, I need to get my shit together now. What is it? And I think being able to draw upon some of those experiences can certainly help in working out what that commitment is. And worst case scenario, right? If you did go and dabble and try lots of different things, even if nothing resonates, you know what doesn't resonate. And you just need to kind of move towards the things that resonate the most.
Kick
That's
up
the
some
best
dust
advice
and
I can give.
See how you feel.
That's exactly
like
right,
it, mate.
Kick
I
up the
think
dust.
Good advice.